So what's this, Mikhail?
This is the famous St. Lucian coconut turnover. Gazada in terms of Jamaicans. But yeah, let me try it.
It's nice and... Is it warm? Out the oven, yeah? Hot out the oven.
Quite nice. Sweet. Pastry's very soft. Oh, I forgot to try it. I'm joking. So welcome to His and Her Dining. We've got Mikhail
and Samantha,
and we'll be making
coconut turnovers St. Lucian style.
Perfect, yeah. A beginner's guide to St. Lucian version of that.
Wish us luck.
Okay, so we're going to start off with ingredients of the coconut dish. So Samantha, what ingredients do we have here then?
So we have some self-raising flour, we've got some salt,
Okay, yeah.
some sugar, some yeast as well, the rising agent, some butter, and a little bit of spice, some nutmeg.
Okay, so how much sugar and salt do we have? Is it just like 1 spoon? Or
No, we can put all the ingredients in the video at the bottom, the description. But yeah, it's a variety, but we'll add all that later on.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so we'll combine all those together, and would you add the water with that as well, would you?
Yeah, so this is just really to combine it to make a dough. And we'll start off with the dough so that we can then add the coconut filling into it. And what I've done, not everyone does this, but I've made sure that the water is a bit warm as well, because it helps all the ingredients dissolve and combine together. So what I did is I just boiled the kettle, not fully boiling.
When that's not fully.
Yeah, so I put some water in the kettle, put it to boil for a little bit, and then I added in some water to just dilute it again, so that it's not as boiling hot. So it just needs to be warm to the touch. Okay, so now I'm just gonna break down the butter. So kind of a bit like, I guess I'm looking for like a breadcrumb texture. That's what I'm going for. So just dissolve that, combine it a bit. And for me, I think the benefit of like just doing this to begin with is just to make sure that all the ingredients combine together properly into the dough.
Okay, got you.
Because if we just leave it and then add the water, you'll end up with like clumps of butter, clumps of sugar, clumps of salt. So just combining it first into the flour. So now it's all combined and there's not clumps of butter or anything anymore. So it's all quite fine. So I'm now going to add in the water.
So that's a warm water, not the boiling water, but the warm water. Is that correct?
Water that's warm to the touch.
Okay, all right then.
So I'm creating a little bit of a well in the middle, and I'm just going to pour a bit in. So you don't want to pour too much. Just gradually add the water. You can always add, but you can't take out.
Okay, all right. So is that a solution thing, is it?
No, that's what they say.
Okay.
It's just, everyone knows this. When it comes to making dough, like less is more. So
I say this is a beginner's guide. I don't have any idea how to do this, so this is literally just a beginner's guide.
So might even just want a bit more.
So this is basically like making roti or dumpling, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so it's the same sort of texture.
Yeah.
I can do that, you know.
We're going for a dough. I mean, this is where you either build up a bit of arm strength.
Unfortunately, I've got too much. So.
Or you get someone else involved to do this bit for you. That's where you...
She's hinting at me, but unfortunately, I'm my legs are broken. So
yeah, this is where you would come a bit in handy, I think. Pretty much got all the water in there now. Okay guys, so I've been kneading it for a little while and we've got our dough here. So I've just kind of shaped it into a rough ball, and I'm just going to put it here to rest.
So how long do you usually have it to rest?
I'll probably rest it for about half an hour.
Okay, I got you. Is that just to make it soft, just like how you would do to dumplings?
Just to make it soft and more pliable. I just like to sprinkle it with a bit of sugar. It just flour, sorry. It just kind of helps stop it from getting a bit sticky.
Okay.
And then what I like to do as well is just kind of cover it with a damp paper towel.
Okay. Is that just
so that just keeps the moisture in, so it doesn't dry out.
Perfect. Okay. All right then. So yeah, we'll do that. One. So yeah, we've covered the tissue over the mixture. So yeah, that's all that. So, and we'll leave that for about half an hour, you said, Samantha?
Yeah, so we'll leave that for half an hour to rest, and then we'll come back to it, and then we can shape it and mould it and fill it with coconut. Okay, so this is the grated coconut. So this is a fresh dried coconut, which you can get from most supermarkets. I actually got this from Aldi, and we grated it fine, and this is what you get.
Did you even use a food processor for it?
If your food processor has the right attachment, then feel free to give it a go, but otherwise you got to do things old school sometimes. So
yeah,
a bit of graft, bit of elbow grease, and you get this.
Perfect. Someone like, your grandma would be proud for things like this, wouldn't she?
Yeah. Someone like grandma or my mum. Alright, so now what we need to do is basically incorporate the sugar. So this is the sweetener. So obviously the coconut's not naturally got enough sugar in it. So we're now going to incorporate some brown sugar to sweeten it up. And then after this process, we're going to have to stew it. So we're going to have to cook the coconut down before we can fill the dough. So you don't want to make this too sweet, because we're not trying to make a very, very sweet turnover. We just want to create a bit of a balance. So really, we're just looking for, if you take a bit of a spoonful, you look through, you kind of want to see enough brown sugar to coconut ratio, I guess. I guess what you also can do is you can taste it to make sure that it's got enough sugar, but don't oversweet it, because once you actually stew it down as well, it will caramelize as well, and that will kind of add more intensity and sweetness. So
okay, so is it just the sugar you add to the mixture, or
at this point, yeah, it's literally just sugar. Okay. When we stew it down, we'll season it.
Okay. Right.
And we'll add some spices and some essence to give it a bit more flavour. But at this stage, we are just incorporating the sugar. Okay guys, so I'm just going to check my dough now. So it's been about 30 minutes, and what we'll see here
it's risen,
so it's probably risen quite a bit actually, and it's quite pliable.
Very soft, yeah.
Quite soft. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take little bits of this dough and make smaller dough balls. So if I just squeeze a piece like this, for example.
Oh, so it's just literally just dough balls, like as in just rounded off dough balls?
Yeah, just round dough balls. So I'm just sort of rolling it at the bottom like this.
Alright.
And just making a bit of a and you can sort of squeeze the tops like this just to seal the back, and then just roll it round in your hand, and then that will be one dough ball, and then I'll just put it on the mat.
It's a nice mat that is. Where do you get it from?
Oh gosh, I got it a while ago actually for the rest of my baking stuff.
I'm joking. Samantha's a baker here. She has all these ingredients. She has all these equipment here and all that. So
the right tools for the job.
Perfect.
Okay guys, so we've just rolled the dough into little balls, and now we're going to continue the process. So now we have to open them up. So just use your thumb to push outside to create a bit of a disc shape, I suppose. That's what you're trying to do. And then we're just going to roll them out a little bit to create a bit more space so we can add in our coconut filling. So you've got a disc shape now. So we'll put a bit of flour on here just so that the rolling pin doesn't stick. Okay, it's rolling pin. And I'm just going to roll it out a bit. Roll it, a little bit out. You can turn it over as well if you want. And you're just creating like a small circle. You don't need it to be too big. So just want to get it a bit thinner. Okay, that's probably a good size now. So we don't want it to be too thin, so I'm just going to show you the edging. So you'll see it's not too thin there. If you can see your hand through it and it's see-through, it's not good. Needs to have a little bit of thickness to it, but not too thick. Right, and now we're just going to add in the filling. Okay, so got the coconut, and important, we had to make sure this cooled down before we put this in here.
So obviously, about 5 minutes, 10 minutes or so?
Well, we were a bit clever, and we actually just put it, we laid it out in a bit of a, we laid the coconut out in a flat tray, and then we put it close to a window, so it didn't take too long to cool down, so it probably was about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's the tip as well, just flatten the mixture, so that way it cools down quickly. So yeah, okay.
Do we need to put a lot of filling into the actual dough? I think
we don't want too much filling because it could burst.
Okay.
So we want just enough, and don't go too close to the edges,
because obviously it will burst out and start.
Yeah. So I would say that's probably okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Right. So now what we're going to do is just fold it over. So take the left hand side and fold it halfway. And then we seal it straight away at this point. So the edges, you're going to push down to seal, because we don't want it to burst, because if it's not sealed properly then it can burst. So I'm just making sure that I'm pushing the edges back down. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it. So I'll do it from the side so you can see. So I'm just going to flip it now. Okay. And I'm just going to seal this as well. So again, just kind of, you can pinch the dough together as well like this, just to make sure it's properly sealed. The idea is we just don't want it to leak at all, so just have to make sure it's very well sealed. And you know, just you can make your own shape. I'm going for a bit of a rectangle. It's probably a bit traditional.
Yeah, 'cause I've seen some like a similar shape to a patty.
Yeah, I think different islands. This is a St. Lucian one, just to remind you guys.
Oh, I do apologise, sorry.
St. Lucian version, but yeah, I mean, different islands do different shapes. I think generally what you'll find across the Caribbean is that we all do a similar thing, but our own style. So, yeah. Right, so I'm just pinching this, continue to pinch it, just make sure it's all sealed properly, like that. If we turn it back round, you can see it's, you know, a rectangle. And that's ready, sealed well, and that's ready to go on the tray. Okay guys, the dough has been proving, so I'm just going to brush it with some butter just before we put it in the oven. So I'll just do that now. So this will just make it nice and golden when it comes out the oven, and also gonna add like some nice flavor as well. So I'll just brush all around the edges like this. It's gonna give it a lovely colour.
And there we have it. We have these delicious St. Lucian coconut turnovers. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time.